Alright, hey everyone, you're watching Nash, and in this video I would be talking about how to spot cheaters. So in the 27 years of me being on this planet, I have had a decent amount of experience with people, and I could tell you some of the signs that you generally miss when you are about to get cheated on because you're so madly in love with that person. But here are a couple of things that if you spot early, you could save yourself from that kind of pain. And to be honest, a little bit of pain is necessary for you to grow, but a lot of pain can really shift your life towards a place that you don't want it to go. So the number one thing that I've noticed in people who are about to cheat, even if they have never cheated, is the fact that they run away from discussions and they are emotionally weak. So in relationships, when you have a problem, when you hit a hard patch in your life, in your relationship specifically, you need to have those hard discussions that might end up in argument, but you have to go through those arguments because it's not fun for anyone, but there are some things that need to be said that you or the other person might not like. And I think that if you have an argument in a civilized manner, if it doesn't go out of bounds, if you don't say crazy stuff to each other, yeah, having argument within those boundaries is necessary. I don't think any relationship goes without an argument. Like ever, you would have a few arguments, and sometimes some people have a lot of arguments before understanding each other. But yes, people who are weak would save themselves from that kind of trouble. They don't want to talk about anything. They would give you the silent treatment. It's one of those things that when you do things the way that they want you to do things, you would be showered with love. But eventually, when they don't like what you are doing, or if you get them into discussions that they don't really want to talk about, they'll treat you very differently and blame you for starting an argument. I'm not saying all the people are like that, but emotionally weak or narcissistic people have these tendencies that when you say something to them that they don't like, sometimes you have to be truthful, and no matter how politely you do it, sometimes they don't like what you are saying. So that polite discussion eventually escalates, and sometimes it escalates really fast towards a place where you don't want it to go. They'll blame you for ruining their mood, ruining their day. They might say other things to you that are even more hurtful than what you said to them. And even if you try to control your emotions, they might butcher your feelings when they feel attacked, and they would feel attacked with pretty much anything they don't want to hear. So you can't really have discussion with these kind of people because it would eventually end up in an argument no matter how good you are. I don't care if you consider yourself a psychologist and you want to have those kind of discussions with all the things that you have trained and read, that you have trained with, and you think that I would be able to handle this person the way I want. You won't be able to do any of that. And then they'll blame you for starting the argument and starting the conversation that eventually ended up in an argument, but they'll never address the fact that they were the one who went aggressive during that discussion. Yeah, so you can't really have a conversation with people who are emotionally weak / unstable. And another thing that comes from their narcissism is the fact that when you confront them about being cheated on, they'll blame you. So basically it's your fault. It was your fault all along. You are the one that caused yourself to get cheated on through the girl or the boy that you were dating. So yeah, I mean, it sounds pretty stupid. It doesn't make sense to a person with a normal functioning brain. But if you think from a narcissistic perspective, they can't be wrong. Even if they have done something that is clearly and objectively wrong, and if they know that they have done something that is wrong, they'll eventually spin it around and blame you for all of that stuff. In their moment of weakness, they wanted that dopamine rush. They were lusting for someone else, and they wanted their happiness out of doing something that is morally wrong, but they went into it anyway because they couldn't control themselves. So yeah, you have to understand that they have like 36 lies ready for you every time you try to confront them with something that they have done. So yeah, your goal should always be to understand and not get into arguments with them. And I was watching one of the reels on Instagram. It was from King Kanishk. I'll link his account in the description. But that reel was really good at describing their exact behaviors. So he was talking about narcissistic coping. But one of the things that he talks about in his video is how people who cheat talk about loyalty a lot. So they would need assurance from you about how loyal you are. They would keep on declaring the fact that they are the most loyal person in this relationship and they are the ones who would eventually stay loyal. But the thing is, if you're loyal, you don't have to keep repeating it to others that I'm loyal. This is something that you do if you are insecure or might be afraid of doing something disloyal to the person that you claim to love, and that's why you keep on saying it. And another thing that I heard in that video is people who cheat. This obviously doesn't go for everyone, even the people who cheat. Yeah, they are charming, they are enticing to talk to. In my experience, the girls who are the best looking or best to talk to have had multiple relationships before, and I'm not saying that they were in the wrong in all of those relationships, but yeah, it kind of turns me off if I find out that a person has had so many relationships before, because that might indicate an issue with them rather than the ones that they have dated. And the thing is that you would have really nice conversations with them, they would seem emotionally intelligent. The only thing is, you would eventually wonder how many guys she's actually doing this with and how many guys are thinking the way that you are thinking about her. Yeah, that creates too much competition for a girl who's 7 or 8 out of 10. But I've seen even the girls with horrible pasts are really good at talking to other people, forming new connections, even on social media. And with this whole digital age, yeah, some girls are really good at texting, but you would eventually find out if you start dating them that, or if you have like a couple of days of conversations with them, because some girls are open about their lifestyles, which is completely fine. I don't have a problem with that. But you would eventually find out that she has a lifestyle that you might not align with, and obviously you shouldn't tell anyone what to do. So the only thing that is left to do there is decide for yourself if you want to stay with that person or if you want to date that person in future, if you're planning to do that. And during my teenage years, I've always wondered the fact that why the prettiest looking faces and the girls who seem emotionally and generally intelligent would cheat on someone, would do that kind of stuff. But eventually I realized is, when you're looking to sell yourself out, the product must look good. And when you're selling yourself, you become the product. So yeah, I mean, when you want to get your dopamine rush from forming connections and forming, you want to flirt with a bunch of guys when you are in a relationship, or some girls do that after marriage as well. When they are married to the guy who might be great for them, they don't really want that. They want to talk to these other guys who are giving her attention, and she likes that attention. They are after temporary happiness. They just want to overload their brain with anything that would make them happy. So yeah, even if it has the power to destroy their entire lives. I mean, you see this all the time in your personal life, on the internet, in the news, and all of that stuff. Yeah, and this goes equally for guys and girls. I'm just talking about girls because I've had experiences with girls, but I have seen guys do that as well. I just haven't had any personal experience with that. It's almost a situation where it's too good to be true kind of thing, and you would eventually find out things that you might not like about her. So before getting yourself attached to these people, you should give it a little bit of time. Maybe don't go into the relationship right away. Take some time, get to know her a little bit. And even if she says the nicest things that you have never heard, even if she makes you feel valued and loved and all of those things, just know that this could all be a facade and she just wants a couple nights of fun out of you. And when your purpose is done in her life, she would throw you out as quickly as she brought you in. So yeah, no one would care about your feelings as much as you do. No one would care about your mental and physical health as much as you do. No matter how much your girl has convinced you into thinking that she cares about you and she wants a life with you, there could still be a chance that it could all fall apart. So be very careful. I mean, in this generation, I have honestly given up on dating, because I believe that you can't know for sure who's going to do what in the future. You can't really predict someone's actions. And even if you get married, in the older times, people used to say marriage is something that was really concrete. It's not really true. People in this generation have proved that they could do anything, anywhere, at any point in their life. You create these, you build these castles in your head where you think that you would have this kind of life with that person, that kind of life with that person, when you have spent only a few months in a relationship. Don't do that. please don't do that. Always know, no matter how good things are going in your relationship, it isn't something that you should be paranoid about all the time, but you should have this in the back of your head that no matter how good things are going with me and my girlfriend, yeah, things could fall apart because people are very, very unpredictable and they are very good at lying, and it's extremely, extremely hard for anyone to spot. I've heard things like spending a couple of years dating someone before you get married because they won't be able to keep up the lie for so long. That isn't really true as well. I've heard cases where someone has cheated on someone after 7 years of relationship because that's when they lost the spark and they got weak and all of that stuff. It's more of a thing where you kind of trust your instincts, trust your gut feeling, and if you can't really find the strength and intelligence to scan for those kind of people, my advice would be for you to stay out of the dating game until you are ready to put the hard work that goes into figuring out and weeding out these kind of people in the crowd. So if you are single and happy, don't ruin it by just to quench some of your needs, you rush into something that eventually would have the power to destroy your entire life. I mean, I know right after I got cheated on, couple of months right after that were really tough for me. I was not eating well, I was not sleeping well. I used to be so angry all the time because I felt like I was wronged in a way that I won't be able to heal from. But eventually I did. I'm happy now. There is always someone attractive, even if it's not physically, but emotionally. You might get attached more to someone else in the future, but the time that you have lost would never come back. So be very careful who you give your time to. And that is it for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video, and thank you for listening to me. Take care.